spoken word and poetry act, and we're going to do a combination of spoken word and hip hop for you guys today. As Dr. Taj said, we're originally from Bristol. Our roots go back to the Caribbean, so we're of Jamaican heritage. And we converted to Islam 4 years ago. And in our conversion, I suppose our music kind of converted with us, or took that journey, that spiritual journey with us. So we incorporate a lot of our spiritual experiences as well as our passions and our plights within our music. So I hope you like it. This first piece is called No More War.
We went to school together, then Sakina changed to a different school. But we spoke to each other, didn't really know each other. We was actually the gospel choir together.
Yeah, we were for a little bit,
yeah. But we didn't actually really know each other, just like hi, bye. And then in Bristol they have this like young black people's talent show every year to kind of inspire some of the inner city youth. So I was hosting the show, and Sakina was singing on the actual event. And from there we kind of had to do workshops together. So the whole summer, I think it was the whole summer, it was the holidays anyway, we spent just like, you know, trying to do team building things and getting to know each other kind of begun. And then we realized that we had an interest in music, like similar genres of music, and our friendship really just started off in our circles in Bristol. We were quite like, not outcasts, but we were like the weird ones, you know, like we wanted to do alternative things, like listen to alternative music and like, you know, dress alternatively and go to like alternative sort of places. So we thought like, freaks, let's hang out together, you know.
I've got a vision that the meek should inherit this earth for what it's worth, and the righteous arise who's like to reverse the effects that evil curse. It's getting worse on this earth as ocean banks burst, famine and drought, hunger and thirst, but the last will be first. Out of nations dispersed, diverse and starved in this universe. Perverse men disturb, the humble who preserve my Lord's majestic words, observe with visual. I spit this verse from the wings of birds, spring with buffalo herds to get my voice heard. I hear their symphonies, angelic trumpets in the breeze. The notes they play say judgment day far away. The wicked dance upon the graves of the innocent they slay under the banner of an anti-terror masquerade. But still we pray 5 times a day, and still we pray 5 times a day. I've seen it all before, death, destruction, heard it all before, greed, corruption. No more, no more war, no more, no more war. I've seen it all before, death, destruction, heard it all before, greed, corruption. No more, no more war, no more, no more.
Basically, we're at university, very adverse to Islam, not our thing at all. We were more free-spirited. What do you say?
Moved to London.
Moved to London, sorry. We were very like free-spirited, didn't think that religion had a place at all in our lives. We were in our final year of university, like 2-3 weeks before we like finished, and I kind of started doing research into Malcolm X actually, and that kind of sparked me on my journey. And because Manira and I were housemates, I'd like be like, Manira, check out this, and she'd be like, huh, you know, so what? Who needs religion to teach you to be a good person? For God's sake, you know. And I was
well,
like,
accent wasn't like that. Please, at least make sound Bristolian. Come on, like.
God's sake.
I know we're in Oxford, but come on.
And I was like, Manira, please just read it. It'll change your life. And then anyway, so through a lot of research, a lot of study, a lot of kind of confronting ourselves really, and just kind of being honest with ourselves about, you know, our role as people who we regarded ourselves as spiritual people, but when we stripped everything down, what was really going on inside of our hearts, I think, was the main thing. And yeah, we decided to take our shahada.
One thing in accepting Islam was just like the kind of reaction of my family, and that still is a kind of ongoing thing, because, you know, at that time I wasn't really settled in Islam, so I was trying to defend my family. I was so like passionate or trying to defend Islam. I was so passionate and didn't really know how to go about it. So that's one thing.
Not just beyond yellow meadows and blue streams, but into the deepest, darkest depths of your hearts, until you choke on the horrors that I've seen, that I've been at night time, that I've dreamed so real that it feels like it's me. I've shared alleys with crack fiends, slept in back streets as rats and rodents rolled all over me, cold and exposed to vulnerability. I've sat in corners as he stands over me. He wishes to offload me, to corrode my soul until I cannot stand the very stench of me. Welcome to the birth of the death of my chastity, desperately seeking to fill my once womb, now tuned with love, where all he has to offer is articulator. No love, no hugs, none of the above. Fixated on making papers, fixated on ill vapors. And even me, I'm starting to doubt if the light of a million suns could penetrate a hardened heart. So I use these words to mediate, yet still they can't alleviate a mother's tears when her son has just been gunned down by his own peers, or a mother's tears when her son has just pulled the trigger ending another's years. The sum of all fears, hardened emotions, dedications and daily devotions to seeking one's own desires, peaking just inches before the fire, walking with a prep of Russian roulette in his step, peaking as if he can see the angel of death. So he, being me, we intertransferably react, and every action could be my last breath, my last nothing left, beating on my warrior chest with no valor in my heart, just repping my manner on my parts, with my swagger or street smart, cross my path, now he's marked as a chalky white figure on grey concrete slabs in exchange for grave diggers. But there will be no white lilies left. There will be no white lilies left, because I still got a fire in my chest, substance in my breath.
Say pray 3 times a day instead of 5. We're not trying to switch up the Aqidah. We're not even trying to incorporate hip-hop into your form of, into Islam. Like, this is a new Islamic thing. Let's not pray, let's spit bars. No, it's just this is how we express ourselves, and this is our contribution to presenting Islam in a different climate. And for the kind of hardships that we face, like you go online, finding forums with like 6 pages of just hate, and people think that backbiting isn't classed as when you're on a forum, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, we don't backbite people, but we can write like hate stuff on the internet. So that stuff like that is hard. Wallahi, it's very, 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 very hard.
How we're treated. One thing that really like hurts me is like how women in general are treated, like around the world in general, but it affects me more, I guess, when I see like either in black communities or especially in Islam, because I know Islam doesn't teach that, you know, and to see just women oppressed, I'm like, you're treating your woman like that, just living up to all these different stereotypes, when Islam is so much better. Again, California was extremely, like, when we first came to Islam, I didn't know what female Muslims looked like, what they did, couldn't find the communities that I felt a part of. I used to go on MySpace all the time and look at the sisters in the Bay Area, so being in that area, it was very like positive, just everything.
As Muslims, like, we converted to Islam, and every Muslim, really and truly, that I see, whether they got a problem with me or not, I would have to die for you. Do you know what I mean? Regardless, the same people that are shouting at me and saying that what we're doing is wrong, if their child was crossing the road, I would have to run in that road to get that child, and if that meant I had to sacrifice my life, then that was Allah's will. Do you understand? So it's kind of like, we can't even tolerate people within our community that are slightly different. How are we supposed to tolerate the wider community? Do you get what I'm saying? How are we supposed to tolerate a Jewish person or a Christian or just a non-Muslim or non-practicing person if we can't even tolerate a Muslim whose Aqidah is exactly the same as yours, but they just do something slightly different? Do you get what I mean? That's
in their occupation.
In their occupation.
You look very relaxed and very calm, and we've come to ruin that mood, to completely change that vibe.